Welcome to episode 15 of the Ringo Report. I'm your host, Brandon Ringo. Thank you so much for watching. So this week, the episode mostly is focusing on like shows because there's like a whole lot of stuff going on in the Central Arkansas area. So first thing I wanted to start out with is something I'm really excited about. So Leonard Skinner, ZZ Top, and Blackstone Cherry are bringing the Sharp Dressed Simple Man tour tonight to Sims Bank Arena in North Little Rock. Leonard Skinner is a band that's, it's very fundamental to a lot of like the, music that I listen to. Like I grew up listening to my dad. I grew up listening to ZZ Top, and I actually got to see both those bands live with my dad a few years ago, and it was amazing. So I guess whenever I think about those bands, I always think about him, and I don't know, it's just badass fucking classic rock and cool. I don't know, it's one of those shows that's like a perfect arena rock show. You know what I mean? And so yeah, if you don't if you would prefer something a little bit different, the EJs is also going to be having a noise night featuring Car Meat and Found Objects and Lake House and a few other local noise artists. The music scene in Little Rock is actually a thing. I think it's really cool. There's a lot of very creative and very unique individuals and stuff, and I think it's neat that there's a way of being able to communicate that with music that's not exactly music. It's more just obviously noise, but I think it's cool that it's got a place here. Also happening tonight at Whitewater Tavern, Trevor Bates, Dot, and Joe in the Fields are all going to be playing, which Dot is a band that I've been meaning to catch. Their name, I think it stands for Daughters of Triton, which is so cool. And also Joe in the Fields is going to be opening for the Wallflowers at the Hall, which I think is really exciting. So it's cool getting a nice little, it's funny seeing them go from playing a little place like Whitewater to playing a giant sold out show. So yeah, this is going to be a cool one. Now, Friday night is a show that I've been waiting for basically since I moved to Little Rock. I'm a big fan of the band Obituary. I think that as they're a death metal institution, they're one of those bands they helped create the genre, and I always thought it would be cool to get to see them in Little Rock. And when I first moved here, Morbid Visions and Severe Headwind were two bands that just absolutely blew me away, and so to see Obituary, Morbid Visions, and Severe Headwind on a flyer together playing at the Rev Room Friday night is really, really, really cool. It speaks I think it speaks volumes to what this town's been able to achieve just in the last 2 years with this music scene, because Obituary wouldn't be coming here if they didn't have a good reason to. So it's cool that we're finally starting to be able to bring in bands like that again. People talk a lot about the days of Juanita's and oh yeah, I saw this band and I saw this band and all these cool venues that used to have bands like Obituary, and so finally being able to have something again is really cool, and so I'm glad they're here. Also happening Friday night is more of kind of like an alternative indie kind of folk show with Avery Lee and the Sweeties, Emily Fenton, and Jess Harp. So it's gonna be happening at Whitewater. Saturday's got a lot of cool stuff going on. There's a lot going on. So there's this place behind the Arteries on Rodney Parham called Aphrodisia. They're going to be hosting on Saturday the Real Word Music Fest. It's going to feature local artists like Kaya Blaze, Spiffy, Big Kel, Arkansas, Asiskino, K Crucial, Fly Society, and much more. And so that's going to be a cool event that's going on. It's going to be it's hip hop and stuff, and it's just a very, it's a way to get exposed to music that you wouldn't maybe normally get to, and maybe you might find your new favorite artist there. So it's definitely a thing. Also happening at on Saturday at Vino's is more of a the what you would think of the ideal stoner metal show. with Color Design, and Mothwind, and Arterial Sky, which Arterial Sky is a band I actually got to see in Shreveport. My band got to play a show with them, and they were so cool. These dudes are all so nice, and their music, like, they're so talented. It was wild because all three of them play all three instruments. So, like, one song they start out with one dude on bass, and one dude on drums, and one dude on guitar, and then they inevitably switch. And so everybody plays all three instruments and does, like, screaming and stuff. And so, like, Arterial Sky, they're really good dudes, and it's a really fun show. So this Vino show, this is their first Vino show as a band, is this unit, and so this is gonna be a cool show. Also, if you've never seen Color Design, they're an absolute must. They're so awesome. And so, yeah, happening at Grandma Lolly's Party Palace also on Saturday. Trevor Bates, Neon Glittery, and How to Raise Wolves. And then at the Rev Room, Uniwa presents All Stars Live. And so it's going to be an event where, like, Uniwa provides the sounds, and then, like, artists like Mac Louie, A1 Nino, Dada Man, X Lou, and Marley the Prototype are all going to be performing. And so it's like another awesome way to get exposed to music that you may not otherwise, like, get to listen to. And Uniwa is just such, like, he's so awesome, and what he's doing, like, his music's listened around the globe and stuff. So it's cool that he still continues to do things to hype up in his hometown. You know what I mean? It's important, and I think it's cool that someone like him with got such an audience around the world actually still cares about doing stuff in this community and trying to build something. I find that very, very, like, awesome. Now, happening in Maxine's in Hot Springs on Saturday is Turtle Rush and Birds with Teeth, which Birds with Teeth, they're so cool. Like, I love the fact that their music is basically, like, really sweet, like, minus the Barry type, like, upbeat poppy indie rock songs, but they're like bluegrass covers in most cases. And I just, like, it's so creative in the way they do it. So if you live near closer to Hot Springs, that's going to be a show that you don't want to miss. Also happening Saturday is karaoke at the Whitewater Tavern, which is a free event, and it is unlike any kind of entertainment you can experience in this town. They always do it on Tuesday nights, and if you've never been to Tuesday night karaoke at Whitewater, it's a must. It's just as vital to this music scene as, like, the shows that happen, because you might be at karaoke and you might see Stan from Terminal Nation, and, like, maybe, like, a member of another, like, local band like Morbid Visions, and then, like, like these it's a melting pot of, like, members of Buckshot Princess come there, and so, like, these karaoke nights are a great way to see people perform that are talented, passionate performers, but maybe they're just doing cover songs. Sometimes it's silly, sometimes it's very serious, and it's a really, really cool way to just kind of, to make new friends and network and stuff and build a community and, like, sing some songs. So yeah, Saturday night karaoke at Whitewater is going to be lit, and so it's going to be packed, and you probably want to get your song in as early as possible. Also, shout out Ryan Mullins, one of the best KJs in town. The dude's just so cool and so fun to work with. And yeah, now, if you prefer something a little more violent, there's also a couple of cool things happening. One at the Labyrinth, it's going to be Sleazy E's No Ring Wrestling. A lot of the guys from, like, that participate in the TAC events at Vino's are going to be there. It's going to be bloody, and it's going to be violent, and it's going to be brutal. But it's not all just death matches. So you're not just going to be watching a bunch of dudes make each other bleed. I mean, it's probably mostly that, but it's going to be, there's more art to it. It's not like, it's very much a physical theater kind of thing. So the No Ring Wrestling is going to be very cool. Another wrestling event that's happening is at the Arkansas Travelers game. They're going to be having a wrestling night from wrestlers from Memphis Wrestling. Specifically, K Toomer's going to be there, and so they're going to have wrestling matches after the Travs game. And the Travs game is another essential piece of like part of entertainment in this town. Like, the stadium's so cool, it's centrally located. It's like, and so yeah, so this is another really awesome event. Happening Monday at Dedicated Art Space in North Little Rock. It's going to be a show featuring Oil Spill, a band from Denton, Texas. Also local support from LRM, Pantheon, and Cavort Usurp, which is kind of cool because like it's like a punk. You got punk, you got thrash, you got death metal, you got like it's a really well-rounded extreme metal show. On Tuesday, the 23rd, is going to be a really, really badass show at Vino's featuring See You Next Tuesday, Mouth Breather, Mazenko, Hypertension, and Jizukiru. So this is going to be, See You Next Tuesday is a band that, probably about a decade ago, they released a bunch of cool records, and they stopped existing for a while, and so they finally, in the last couple of years, have gotten themselves going back again, playing shows and releasing music. They just dropped a new album in February that's really badass, and Mouth Breather's with them on this tour, and they're really awesome. And so this is like, and plus the locals on this are just top notch. And so, this show is going to be really, really good. This is a heavy hit show, and it is one that you definitely don't want to miss. I'm excited about getting to see You Next Tuesday. Actually, I think we get to play with them. Or we'll be playing with them in Memphis on the day before. And so, getting to play with them and then see them is going to be really fun. And then on Wednesday at Vino's, Mutilated, Sentenced to Die, and Chain Snatcher are going to be playing. And this is going to be another really badass like death metal Wednesday show. Mutilated is a really cool band that's been doing a lot of touring and played here before. Sentenced to Die is really badass death metal. And then Chain Snatcher. I can't say enough about how cool this band is. They're all my friends, and they're what they're doing musically is really awesome and stuff. And so they're continuing to play big shows. Actually, I think this will be their second Wednesday in a row with a big show. So definitely if you like death metal, go check that one out. As far as show announcements, the main one I wanted to spotlight, because it's been a little most of the stuff's been it's been a little slow this week. One thing that got announced yesterday actually was on June 27th, Christworm and Pale Misery are going to be coming to Vino's. They're going to be playing with LRM and Mammoth Karavan. And it's going to be a really cool show from Vino's. Christworm is a really badass sludge band from Louisiana. Pale Misery is also a really badass death metal, black metal. They have a new record coming out. Their single "Gray is Filled with Fire" is so awesome. And so this is definitely going to be a show that you'll want to check out. It's kind of like a couple of heavy hitting bands from both Arkansas and Louisiana, and that's. And that connection is something that's very important to me. Being someone that moved here from Louisiana, I grew up going to shows in Monroe, Louisiana, and watching bands from Mississippi, and bands from Arkansas play, and bands from Texas. And so it's really exciting to me personally to see that connection still there. That Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi connection is very important to my life. And a lot of the people that are in bands like Beneath the Kudzu and Chief City, and Death Row from a Star and Vicksburg, they have been a big part of my life. And then bands from Shreveport like Weather and stuff. And so, and Blood Drunk and Crack Fight, who's going to be playing at Mutants of the Monster. So Louisiana, and then of course all the Arkansas bands. And so, so this show is definitely something very special to me. Also, Mammoth Karavan is going to be playing a very special set. We've been talking about it, and we're going to do something from each one of our records, including one that we haven't even really recorded yet. So, that's going to be really exciting. As far as music releases, those have been kind of a slow week for that. One album that I definitely want to spotlight is Imposter Syndrome by local pop punks, The Espionage Act. If you haven't seen them, they have one of the most enjoyable live shows you'll get to see. They just released dropped this release last week as part of a show with Second Life and stuff at Vino's. And so, definitely check out the new single by The Espionage Act. Also, make sure you get a chance to watch this week's episode of Crashcast featuring Buckshot Princess. They're a band that's very special to me. I love their music. I think it's what they're doing is really cool because it transcends genres in a lot of ways. You could call it country, but that's not an exact replication of what it is. So I think their lyrics are dark. You know, their country music is very kind of traditional sounding, but it's also got like a little bit of punk, and it's got a little bit of reggae, and it's got a little bit of all these different influences that make them so special. So definitely check out this week's Crashcast episode with Buckshot Princess. Also, be sure and check out the Ringo Report on Instagram and Facebook. I post the different spotlights and different bands every day. I'm absolutely thrilled that I got to post a spotlight on Obituary today. Shout out Donald Tardy. Thank you so much for doing this. And you know, so yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Go to a show, tip your bartender, try to be a good person, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. And have a wonderful day.